Hey guys, here we are at part 6 of the story where Naruto is Jinchuriki of 9 tails as well as he is heir of Sage of 6 paths as well Minato Namikaze. We will see as Naruto takes on Shinobi world by storm. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button. Now, let's jump right in. Fire Country, Konoha Root headquarters. This place was always dark and damp, feeling like a pit in hell only without the lava. The lighting was a bare minimum and gave off a killing intent all on its own. Standing in the center of the platform was the leader of Root, a man by the name of Danzo. He was the kind of man who always thought that the ends justify the means and had no problem doing whatever it took to accomplish his goals and safeguard Konoha. It was the reason the Sun Daime and God Daime Hokages kept him around. The Ondaime had kept him around for that very reason too before his demise during the Battle of the Nine Tails 15 years ago. Sai, wipe that stupid smile off your face, Danzo said, and Sai appeared in front of him, kneeling. Report, he ordered. Orochimaru is dead. Danzo-sama as is Kabuto. I apologize but Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura both managed to escape, Sai informed him. I see, interesting, I assume that the mission didn't go as planned then? It was a simple question but Sai knew better than to answer. Very well, the mission was indeed a failure as Uchiha Sasuke still lives, however with both Orochimaru and Kabuto dead I no longer have to worry about those two fools. He turned and took a few steps before stopping again. I will let this failure slide this time, however do not fail me again, Sai. Sai kept his head bowed. Your orders, Danzo-sama? I have a mission for you. Take Fu and Torune and collect as much information on Orochimaru's experiments as you can, were Danzo's orders. Yes, Danzo-sama, Sai said simply. Dismissed, Danzo said and turned away. Danzo-sama, Danzo stopped and turned to him slowly. I request a formal placement on Team Naruto under Namikaze Naruto as an official member. Agreed, Danzo said, surprising him though he didn't show it. You may leave, Sai. The Root Onbu bowed once more and left soon after. Danzo was not a fool, not by a long shot. He knew that despite the fact that he and Naruto had different beliefs, Naruto was the best chance Konoha had for survival other than himself, of course. With the increasing threat from Akatsuki and their accursed leader Uchiha Madara on the rise, Konoha needed every able-bodied shinobi they could get these days. After all, that was the reason he had voted to ally themselves with Kumo and permitted Yugito on the team. Fire Country, Konoha. Night had fallen on the village and the only sound that could be heard were the crickets in the bushes. Naruto was sitting at a bench in the middle of the silent street with an ice cream bar in his hand. Tears streamed down his face but he paid them no heed as he stared at the ice cream he held in his hand. There you are, Naruto. He looked up and saw Yugito approach. He wiped his eyes as she sat down beside him. You're a hard man to find. I wanted him to keep watching over me, wanted him to see me become Hokage. He was my godfather but I always thought of him as my own grandfather, Naruto choked out. She pulled him into a hug as he cried yet again. It's okay, it's okay. Why did this have to happen? He asked her. I don't know, Yugito answered truthfully as she felt him shake. I'll kill him, I won't stop until he pays for what he's done, Naruto vowed. Naruto. She thought as he continued to cry in her arms. It was going to be a long night. Rain Country, Akatsuki headquarters, did you recover his ring? Pain questioned. Black Zetsu snorted at the question, what ring? There was nothing left of it to recover after his battle with the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. This is troubling news, Pain began. Itachi, Kisame, you two are to hunt the Kyuubi and the Nibi. With Jiraiya now dead they will be vulnerable and they won't be expecting an attack so soon. Kakuzu and Hidan will hunt the Ibi and the Gobi after we seal the Nanabi. Konan and I will personally deal with the Hachibi, Pain finished. What about the Sanbi? White Zetsu asked simply. Tobi will deal with the Sanbi, it doesn't have a Jinchuriki so it will be weaker than the others, Pain reasoned. Oh man, you're sending Tobi? Are you mad? Black Zetsu asked in disbelief. Oh, don't be like that, after all Tobi is a good boy, White Zetsu said simply. Everyone turned to the mask-wearing Akatsuki member and saw him standing on one of the other fingers' platforms completely motionless like a statue. He snored. I think he's asleep, Kisame laughed. You know, I think he's utterly mad, White Zetsu commented. Geez, what was your first clue? The guy is clearly bonkers, Black Zetsu retorted. You have your assignments, dismissed, Pain ordered, and the holograms of the other Akatsuki members disappeared one by one until only Tobi remained. I thought I would be the one to hunt the Kyuubi and the Nibi. Why do you want them to go instead? Because I want you to hunt the Hachibi, Toby replied simply with none of his regular light-hearted attitude. "Why don't you go yourself?" Pain asked. "Because I have a prior engagement," Toby said and turned to leave. "The time is not yet right to show them the Uchiha's power, my power, the power of Uchiha Madara." Fire Country, Konoha Namikaze household. The family home of his parents was the place Namikaze Naruto had moved into once he unsealed all of his things from his travels. The entire area had been riddled with security seals of all kinds, some of which took even Jiraiya hours to finally crack. Once the seals were finally out of the way, Naruto had actually managed to find a photo of his parents which now lay beside the king-sized bed. He had also found his parents' armory, if that's what you could call it. Below the house was a network of tunnels reinforced with several sheets of metal and was filled with hundreds of different weapons and seals. There were thousands of Hiraishin kunai in storage just waiting to be used in the seals. To be honest, he wasn't even sure what half of them did. The morning sun shone into the main bedroom of the house and Naruto let out a groan as he tried to shift away from the light. His eyes fluttered open and he felt a weight on his chest. He looked down and gave another groan when he saw Yugito's head using his chest as a pillow. They were both fully clothed however, so he knew that nothing happened last night, but he couldn't remember getting home, so he simply assumed that Yugito somehow carried him in. "Morning." Yugito rose her to look at him. "Morning," he smiled back. "Are you okay?" she asked him. "No," he answered simply. "I hate doing nothing, I need to confront him, I need to confront pain." "Naruto." She trailed off, not knowing what to say. "Knock knock, it's Shikamaru," Yugito told him, having sensed the Nara at the front door. Naruto nodded and rose from the bed. Yugito gave an audible groan as she felt him leave her side. Naruto exited the room and descended the stairs, reaching the door within moments. He opened it and saw a rather disheveled Shikamaru standing at his door. "What is it, Shikamaru?" Naruto asked him. "Can I come in?" the Nara asked. Naruto nodded and stepped aside to allow him entry. He closed the door behind them and they made their way into the kitchen. Shikamaru sat down at the kitchen table and Naruto moved over to the fridge. "Can I get you anything?" Naruto asked him, looking over his shoulder. "No thank you," the Nara replied politely as Naruto grabbed a drink. "Why are you here, Shikamaru?" Naruto asked outright as he sat down also. "I want to know everything I can about pain. The best place to start are the only other Rinnegan users we know of, that means you," Shikamaru stated clearly. "Well, the Rinnegan allows its user to manipulate all 5 main elements as well as the wood element, since the Senju got that little trick from the Rikudo Sennin. We are also able to absorb chakra directly through our hands, making ninjutsu all but useless given the situation, and we have the Yamanaka's ability to probe minds when we grab them by the head. Other than that I have no idea," Naruto answered honestly. "What about being able to be 6 people at once?" Shikamaru asked him. "Well, I am able to see what my clones are doing if I make them when my Rinnegan is active, but Hirasenin once told me that the human mind can't handle the information from more than one set of eyes at the same time." "I'm not sure how pain is 6 people, the blonde replied. "I understand," Shikamaru said with a nod. "I'm sorry I can't be more helpful," Naruto apologized. "Don't worry, I think that's more than enough," Shikamaru said as he stood once more. "Before I forget, Hokage-sama wants to see you in his office right away," he mentioned. Naruto nodded as he escorted him to the door. "Alright, I'll see you around, Shikamaru." Before Shikamaru closed the door, he turned slightly and said, "The day will come when we surpass those who came before us. Jiraiya-sama was a great man, Naruto. From what I've seen, you will soon surpass him." He closed the door behind him as he left. Naruto just stared for a good few minutes before turning and seeing Yugito slowly walk down the stairs. "What are you going to do?" she asked him. Naruto thought about it for a few more seconds before giving his answer. "I need to meet with Hokage-sensei." Fire Country, Konoha Hokage Tower. Sennin's code said that the real one is not there. What if he meant the real pain wasn't among the 6 bodies? Naruto asked those that had gathered. "There were only 6 people with the Rinnegan that we saw, Naruto boya," Fukasaku responded. "And the first shinobi was called the Rikudo Sennin. I think those bodies that Sennin and you fought were pain's paths," Naruto continued. "They did call themselves the Pain Rikudo," Fukasaku mused. "That still doesn't explain how he is 6 different people though. It's the same with me and my shadow clones, but instead of dispelling like mine do, he keeps them active all the time. I don't know how he makes them, but I doubt it's that much different from me," Naruto explained. Shadow clones. Jiraiya Boya recognized a few of the bodies as people he had fought before. If what you say is true, then he may be able to reanimate and control a corpse. That would explain how he was able to resurrect 3 of his bodies after they were killed by Jiraiya Boya, Fukasaku mused. He turned and asked the question, "How did you come to this theory?" "When I create a shadow clone with my Rinnegan active they get it too. It allows me to take direct control of the clone while I maintain control of my own body. I've never gotten used to looking in more than one direction at once. It's the reason I don't do Kage Bunshin no Jutsu on a large scale as often as I did before because Urasenin warned me that the human mind isn't capable of processing so much information at once," Naruto explained. Pain might be using something similar with his 6 paths, they only demonstrated one jutsu each though, Fukasaku said confused. "Shizune-san is already going over the body that Jiraiya-sama recovered," Kakashi spoke clearly. "Maybe once we find out how they work we will be able to fight this bastard." Tuya's grin was worthy of Enko's praise. "Don't get ahead of yourself, none of you are even close to matching Pain right now. The only one who might have a chance is Tsunade-san and even then the chance is small." Fukasaku snorted at the very idea. Pain was able to defeat Jiraiya, who despite being considered a failure was the strongest shinobi Konoha had since his student the Ondaime Hokage died in battle against the Kyuubi. Tsunade might be able to hold Pain off for a while but she would ultimately lose, and though Kakashi was a strong Hokage, he knew he was nowhere near Jiraiya's level. "So what do we do then? Just wait for the bastards to attack us?" Naruto asked angrily. "That's simple, you all train," Fukasaku replied with a smirk. "And you Naruto will be coming with me." That surprised everyone in the room. "With you?" Naruto asked the Toad Elder. "I'll train you in Senjutsu on Mount Myobaku's in the same way I hammered it into Jiraiya Boya." A smirk somehow managed to settle onto Fukasaku's features. "Will it let me win against Pain?" Naruto asked him after a moment. "That I can't guarantee but right now you don't have a chance at all," Fukasaku told the blonde Namikaze. "Count me in," Naruto replied. "Then we leave in an hour, you'd better go pack," Fukasaku told him with a nod. "Fire Country, Konoha main gates. Don't worry about us, we'll be fine. We've got our own training to do you know," Yugito said as Naruto pulled her into a tight hug. "I'll be back soon Yugito," he told her as he pulled away. "As soon as we have any results from the autopsy or the interrogation we'll send word," Kakashi told them. "I'll leave a messenger Toad so if anything happens just send him to get us," Fukasaku said with a nod. "Don't worry little brother, we'll keep this shithole together until you get back," Tuya said a little too cheerfully. "Right," Naruto deadpanned and shook his head. "We really must be going, until we meet again." The moment Fukasaku finished, both he and Naruto disappeared in separate puffs of smoke. "They vanished?" Tuya said in alarm. "It's a Gyakukushios no Jutsu, don't worry about it," Yugito told her. "You two will meet me at Training Ground 7 in 20 minutes because I'm going to be training you both personally," Kakashi told them. "What about Dickman here?" Tuya asked pointing her thumb at the smiling Rudonbu beside them. "I am afraid I will be on a mission for Danzo-sama during this time," Sai replied simply. Kakashi paid him no heed as he started down the street with his book in hand. No one could have predicted what would happen over the following week. Lightning Country, Kumo Marketplace Kushios no Jutsu. Pandemonium reigned as 6 large animals of various species destroyed everything and everyone they could find. Kumo civilians were running away from the rampage as buildings, shops and spires were left in ruins in the wake of these walking juggernauts. In the center of this mess were 3 figures with orange hair and they all wore black cloaks with red clouds on them. They didn't seem to care about the destruction the summons were causing as they proceeded towards the Wreckage Tower at a walking pace. A pair of Kumo nins appeared out of nowhere and tried to attack the man in the center of the 3 only for the ground to crack around them. "Shinra-densei," Deva whispered and the nins coughed up blood for a moment before falling to the ground, obviously dead. "Ranton, Reza Sakasu." A dozen beams of light shot out from the side as Daru landed in the street with Shi at his side. "Fujutsu Kyuin," Preta said as the beams dissipated upon contact with him. "Who the hell are these guys?" Amoe asked as he came in from the side and swung his sword. Deva pulled out a chakra blade from his cloak and parried the blow effortlessly just as Kuro came at him from behind. "Kushios no Jutsu," Animal said calmly as she slapped her hand on the ground and summoned a large bird-like creature to attack. The bird knocked Kuro away as Deva spun swiftly and delivered a kick to Amoe's chest, knocking him back also. Just then Samui attacked from above, swung her own sword down on the Deva path, but alas he was already prepared. Shinra-densei, she was thrown back through one of the buildings nearby with thunderous force and the entire complex soon fell. "Samui!" Amoe called as the building crumbled. The 3 pains continued on their way towards the Wreckage Tower, seemingly uncaring about anyone that stood in their way. "You bastard!" Amoe charged with his weapon in hand. Amoe don't, Kuro shouted to him, but it was already too late. Without even looking back, Deva whispered the words, Shinra Tensei. Pain flooded Amoe's body as the ground cracked around him. He fell to his knees a moment later, coughing blood into his hands. Amoe, Kuro shouted as she saw him fall. And the three Pains never looked back. While the others were causing the distraction, the human path made his way through the village undetected. It was here that he found his target. Jay turned quickly and his eyes widened as Human grabbed his head with his right hand. You will tell me where the Hachibi is located, Human spoke simply as Jay's eyes glazed over. It took only a moment to access the desired information from his mind. Storm Cloud Ravine. Kushios no Jutsu, Animal called out softly, and in a poof of smoke the Asura path appeared on the battlefield. Asura's head opened to reveal that it wasn't even remotely human at all. The skull, if that's what you can call it, glowed green for a second, and a split second later buildings were knocked down. By the force of the large multidirectional green flames Asura unleashed. The force of the blast was heard across the entire village, and after a moment silence reigned across the battlefield. They kept walking. Jiraiya Chandropu. A figure blurred into existence faster than the paths could realize. Instantly Deva was destroyed under the assault of the much larger Yondaime Reikage. You will not get away with attacking my village, you little ants. Asura simply watched on and fired a volley of missiles from his wrists. The Reikage evaded them all with his superior speed and moved in close, only to be surprised by Asura's tail that tried to slash at him. You clearly do not understand pain, Preta spoke in a gruff voice. You trifle with powers that you do not understand, and that will be your undoing. Don't you dare think you can lecture me, the Reikage growled at him. That's when he saw the Dujutsu the Akatsuki leader had. You have, the Rinnegan? I want you to feel pain, contemplate pain, accept pain, to know pain. Those who do not know true pain will never understand true peace. A second later Preta, Deva and Asura disappeared in puffs of smoke. Animal had already left as soon as the Reikage arrived. Coward, what are you planning? The Reikage growled and turned as she arrived. He's gone, sir. It looks like they're retreating to the downtown area, she reported, having sensed the direction the chakra signatures were going. I want that thing dead, the Reikage declared with anger in his voice, and he took off after pain. Kushios no Jutsu, Animal whispered as she slammed her hand down on the ground, and the other 5 paths appeared at her side. Immediately Naraka got to work on repairing and reconstructing the downed paths. Just then Konan appeared at his side with her cloak flapping in the wind. What's going on? The blue-haired girl asked. I'm using that jutsu, Animal replied simply. But that jutsu will shorten your life if you use it, Konan tried to reason with them. Just then Deva exited the King of Hell completely repaired. Do you really mean to do this, Nagato? Now this world shall know pain, was his answer. Just then the Reikage arrived and Deva jumped high into the air above the village. What is he planning? The Reikage asked in thought as he saw the Akatsuki leader float in mid-air. I can feel a large build-up of chakra coming from him, she informed him as the other pains became lifeless. The Reikage's eyes widened at this. No. Shinra Tensei. Buildings, mountains even were pushed away as pain unleashed a massive blast of gravity in all directions. Civilian and ninja alike screamed as their village was torn apart and utterly destroyed by the unstoppable force that was sent at them. After the blast died down, Kumagakure no Sato no longer existed and silence reigned supreme. It was over. Was that really necessary? Konan asked as Deva stepped up to her. Yes, he answered simply and continued walking. Konan gave a sigh before asking the question, where to now? Storm Cloud Ravine, the home of the Hachibi Jinchuriki, Pain answered. Lightning Country, Storm Cloud Ravine. So you are the Hachibi Jinchuriki, Pain stated as he approached the small house. The lone dark-skinned figure looked the two over and said, Hey, it's so you are Hakabi-sama or Jinchuriki-sama, fools, ya fools. I'm here to capture you and bring peace to the world, Pain explained as his paths fell into formation. Preta, Human, Animal and Asura were in front with Deva behind them and Naraka at the very back. Let's see now, those eyes you have must be the Rinnegan I've heard so much about, Kirabai mused upon seeing the Dujutsu. I'm in the midst of my rhyme, you all are busting in on my time, and now I got to split my line, fools ya fools. Asura threw off his Akatsuki cloak revealing a scorpion-like body and shot forward towards the Hachibi Jinchuriki. Kirabai saw him approach and threw his 7 swords into the air. He grabbed them all with different parts of his body, surprising the Akatsuki agents as he went on the offensive and cut down the Asura path within moments. His kenjutsu is almost unreadable, Pain thought as Kirabai fell back into his stance. The only one who gets to dig me is me, Yoso, stand back or you'll get whacked, ya fool. Kirabai rapped with a sword still in his mouth. Hachibi, that be me, the rapping killer bee, yeah. This battle you all initiated, but I'll leave you all humiliated. This Jinchuriki isn't like the others, Konan thought as she examined the man. He acts like a complete fool, but he's definitely taking us seriously. Only Hanzo and Jiraiya-sensei have given Pain this much trouble. Tsuinkushio no Jutsu, Animal slammed both hands down on the ground and two large creatures appeared in puffs of smoke. One was a rhino and the other was a bull. They charged straight towards the Hachibi Jinchuriki, blowing up dust as they approached, and Kirabai narrowed his eyes slightly at the monstrosities. Yo, first I'm going to float like a butterfly, he began as he jumped over the oncoming summons and went to attack Animal directly. Animal could do nothing as she was slashed and stabbed by the barrage of attacks sent at her. Then I sting like a killer bee. Animal hit the ground with an audible thud, but Kirabai was already upon her yet again. And I end my flow. He struck down and finished off the Animal path, with the finishing blow. He's strong in close combat in a similar way to the Raikage. Long-range attacks are my only choice here, Pain mused as he looked over the Hachibi Jinchuriki. This fool's Rinnegan is a real problem, Kirabai thought before putting his left hand up into the air and made a sign. I see it can't be helped, here comes the 8. Crimson chakra exploded from his body and condensed around him into the shape of an ox with 3 tails. So that's the Hachibi's power, his chakra levels are immense, Konan thought as she studied the chakra that clung to Kirabai's body. Kirabai shot forward at blinding speed and appeared in front of Human faster than anyone could blink. Lariat. The Hachibi Jinchuriki brought his fist up and close line the Human path. Blood exploded from Human's back as Kirabai threw him down and turned to his next target. He charged again, but this time towards Deva and Konan. This guy's strength is insane, Konan thought when she saw the third path taken down. It doesn't matter though, he will fall before Pain just like everyone else has. After all, Pain has never lost a fight. Lariat. Kirabai called as he made to blow out Deva's insides just like he did to Human. Shinra Tensei, Deva whispered, and Kirabai's eyes widened in surprise as he was flung back effortlessly and crashed hard into the mountain behind his home. What the hell hit me? That must have been a gravity jutsu like Yugito-chan told me about. These brats are a serious pain, Kirabai grumbled as he stood once more. Just then he saw that the 3 paths he had killed were suddenly standing upright again. What the hell? I thought I killed those guys. How'd he resurrect them like that, yo? Surrender yourself now. Your death will lead to peace, Pain's voice echoed throughout the area. Shut up, you little pup. My true mode is the Biju's abode. The red chakra covered Kirabai's body bubbled as it grew and condensed around him. Is that of a monster? See, I told ya. His chakra is impossible. Konan gulped slightly as the chakra continued to grow. A few moments later, a giant ox with 8 tails tentacles stood over them. Now look upon me as I make you pee all in your pants, you little ants, the ox roared out. Pain remained impassive as he looked up at the monster in front of him. Chakra compressed into a ball at the beast's mouth as he continued, and now I will show you, Anoni Jutsu. Nagato, Konan took a step back. Do not worry, Konan, Pain reassured her. I will handle this, just stay back for now. Hachibi Juamari, Kirabai roared as he unleashed a large blast of pure chakra from the ball which obliterated the entire ravine. Shinra Tensei. Deva countered as he shielded the other paths and Konan from the blast. When the blast died down, Pain and Konan remained standing atop the water where they had been standing. That was too close, Konan exhaled. Chibaku Tensei, Deva whispered and created a small gravity ball in his hands. You don't have to go that far, Nagato, Konan told him. Would you rather I hold back? When he didn't get an answer, he continued, I will be fine, Konan. He threw the gravity ball into the air above them and it started pulling the earth itself up into the sky. Eventually there was so much mass up there that it looked like a miniature moon, and even the huge Hachibi was pulled up as well. Kirabai roared as he crashed into the artificial construct before he was able to stand once again. He tried to break free, but more slabs of earth impacted the construct and by proxy him. Enough, Nagato, Konan said to her partner. Not yet, Deva gasped out as he tried to hold his jutsu. Kirabai roared again as he was buried inside of the miniature moon, and it suddenly crushed itself. It fell apart a moment later and crumbled to the ground in a pile of debris. In the center of this mess was a badly beaten Kirabai who was no longer in his Biju's full form. I have captured the Hachibi, Pain stated clearly as he approached their fallen opponent. Let's hurry up and get out of here before anyone shows up, Konan said as she proceeded to wrap Kirabai's body up in her papers for transport. Fire Country, Konoha Hokage Tower. Kakashi giggled as he read through his book. He'd finished his paperwork for today hours ago and now had time to finish reading the new Icha Paradise novel Naruto gave him 2 months ago when he returned. Normally he'd have the book finished by the end of the first week, but the amount of paperwork coupled with the demands of the Elder Council took up most of his free time. Oh, how he missed the days when he could just take it easy. Knock knock. Kakashi sighed audibly and then turned to the door. Come in. The door exploded towards him and his reflexes instantly kicked in. Having been an Anbu captain for years, he was able to duck under his desk and recover quickly as the door flew over his head and through the window. The next thing he heard was the distinct sound of burning paper and he flipped his table over so it was on its side and covering him from the attackers at the door. Explosions riddled the Hokage's office and flames raged for all to see. Kakashi coughed slightly as he stepped out of cover and thanked the Rikudo that he always wore a mask so he wouldn't breathe in the smoke. His attackers were gone but he could still hear explosions and screaming coming from down the hall. So it's finally happened, Kakashi realized as the floor gave out under him. He fell and crashed into a pile of debris on the floor below. Crap, at this rate the entire building will collapse. He stood shakily and moved towards the stairs. I have to get to the roof now. He dashed up the stairs, noticing the various bodies that lay on the floor as he went. I will make you pay for this, Akatsuki. When he reached the roof he was greeted to the sight of 2 figures he knew very well. Uchiha Itachi and Hoshigaki Kisame. Kakashi spoke as he brought up his hit eye and revealed his Sharingan. Kakashi, it's been a long time. Itachi nodded his head in respect. Where are the Kyuubi and Nibi Jinchuriki? That doesn't matter, Kakashi said simply as the flames around the tower grew higher. You'll pay for what you've done here, he told the 2. Tsunade-sama is no doubt at the hospital tending to the injured and the remnants of Team Naruto are scattered. I'll just have to do this myself then, were the Hokage's thoughts as he narrowed his eyes at the Akatsuki agents. Just then a figure blurs into existence beside him. Good timing, guy. My flames of youth are burning brightly today. The green-clad Jonin declared loudly. I see you are still a moron, you dumb beast, Kisame chuckled half-heartedly. Who are you? Guy asked upon seeing the shark-like man. I'll make sure to make you remember by the time this is over, Kisame said with a grin and took off into the village with Guy right behind him. Raiten, Rainu, Kakashi said as he grasped his wrist and a lightning god shot out towards Itachi. Itachi easily evaded the strike and threw out his hand to the side. Utakata, he whispered and Kakashi instantly stopped moving. I apologize Kakashi, but this if for the greater good, he spoke as he slashed his Anbu sword across Kakashi's neck. Itachi's eyes widened as Kakashi exploded into lightning and struck every nerve in Itachi's system. It is clearly a Raibunshin no Jutsu. Reikiri. The real Kakashi exclaimed as he plunged his lightning-covered hand through Itachi's back, where his heart was located. Impressive Kakashi, it is no wonder that you were made the goddamn Hokage, Itachi said unaffected by the fist that was protruding from his chest. Bunshin Daibakuwa, he whispered and Kakashi's eyes widened as he jumped away. Itachi exploded in a blast of fire which destroyed the already unstable Hokage Tower. When it was over Kakashi shifted slightly in the debris that was once the Hokage Tower and stood up with a wince's pain flash through his left arm. It didn't take him long to realize that it was dislocated and he only needed a few seconds to pop it back into place. So you survived that, Kakashi? That is impressive, but you and I both know that you cannot win here. Hand over the Kyuubi and the Nibi and we will leave peacefully, Itachi stated calmly. You know that I will never agree to that, Itachi, Kakashi declared. So be it, Itachi finished as he drew his Anbu sword to the side. Mangekyo Sharingan, Kakashi whispered after making a hand seal and his Sharingan shifted into its most powerful form. That's... Surprise flashed across Itachi's eyes for a second before he narrowed them. Kamui, Kakashi whispered. What? Itachi thought in alarm and quickly moved out of the way as time and space seemed to compress where he had stood. His sword was caught in the jutsu and crushed in a swirl of matter and air. That jutsu was... Damn it, I missed, Kakashi thought as his breathing worsened. Kaden, Gukakyu no Jutsu, a large fireball exploded from Itachi's mouth and barreled towards Kakashi's position, burning everything in its way. Kakashi jumped high, over the oncoming fireball and threw out his fist. Raiten, Rainu, a lightning dog shot from his hand and descended on Itachi. It struck dead center but Itachi puffed out of existence a moment later. Damn it, he was a clone. Just then 2 Itachis descended upon him from above as he touched back down on solid ground. It's like I'm fighting dust and echoes. Bunshin Daibakuwa, Kakashi's eyes widened at the words. Kamui, the Hokage whispered, and the two explosions that the clones created were instantly teleported to another dimension. Most impressive, Kakashi, despite not being of Uchiha blood you're still able to use the Mangekyo Sharingan. That is truly a remarkable accomplishment, Itachi commented. Tell me, who did you kill to get that high? He inquired. No one. A friend of mine from back during the 3rd grade Shinobi War sacrificed his life to save mine, and he gave me this Sharingan as a present since he didn't have anything else to give and he had no further use for it. The Mangekyo Sharingan is unlocked when someone has a full matured Sharingan and experiences incredible guilt for something he or she has done, or in my case failed to do, Kakashi stated calmly. That explains how you are able to use Kamui and I cannot. Only one other man in history has ever unlocked that specific ability, Uchiha Madara. Kakashi's eyes widened at the name. Itachi, just how much of your eyesight have you lost? Kakashi asked him, but after a few moments of silence he knew he wasn't going to get an answer. You cannot win. Surrender the Jinchuriki or I will do what I must, Itachi gave the ultimatum. No, Kakashi answered simply. So be it. Mangekyo Sharingan. Itachi's eyes shifted into his own personal version of the Dujutsu. Amaterasu, black flames erupted from his eyes and shot towards the Hokage at incredible speed. With what little chakra I have left, I can't take Itachi out, and, if I use the jutsu again, I will drain myself completely and without a doubt I will die. The best way I can save Konoha right now is to buy time for Naruto to return, Kakashi thought as he saw the black flames approached and the world around him seemed to slow to a crawl. Kamui. The black flames were sucked into his jutsu and disappeared as he closed his eyes slowly. Itachi bowed his head in respect as Kakashi fell lifelessly to the floor. You are a worthy opponent, Kakashi. Well, it seems this is it for me, too. Obito. Rin. Sensei. Were Kakashi's last thoughts before his eyes closed completely and forever. Kaden, Gukakyu no Jutsu. A fireball descended on Itachi's position and he quickly evaded the attack as a figure touched down beside Kakashi's fallen corpse. Namikaze Tuya, the sister of the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, daughter of the Yondaime Hokage and fellow user to the Rinnegan. Also known as the true heir to the Whirlpool Country, Itachi stated upon recognizing her. Actually I prefer Uzumaki to you prick, the redhead growled at him as she checked Kakashi's for a pulse. When she found none she glared intensely at the Uchiha mass murderer. You fucking bastard. You wish to fight? So be it, Itachi said in monotone and motioned for the come at him. Where are the Kyuubi and Nibi Jinchuriki? He questioned. Like I tell you bastard, the redhead growled at him and shot forward. Unknown, Limbo. Kakashi walked through the darkness towards the small campfire he could see in the distance along with a cluster of medium-sized rocks beside it. As he drew closer he saw a figure sitting atop one of the rocks staring into the fire and he immediately knew who it was. Kakashi? The figure called out, turning his head to watch the copy nin approach. So this is where you were? Kakashi said as he came up beside the man and sat down on one of the other rocks. Will you tell me your tale? The figure asked. Yes, but it's a long story so I want to take my time, Kakashi sighed. The man smiled and said, yeah, that's fine. You see, father. Fire Country, Konoha downtown. Suten, Bakasui Shoha. A massive blast of water erupted from Kisame's mouth and seemed to consume a good portion of the village, forcing Guy onto the rooftops. Hold still you dumb beast. The swordsman shouted with a grin and slid across the water. Guy dashed across the water faster than most Jonin could see and intercepted the Akatsuki agent atop the water. Using his legs as leverage, he was able to knock Seimata from Kisame's grasp and kick him away while grabbing the fallen weapon. Guy jumped up with his hands grasping Seimata's handle and swing down on Kisame's position. Just before he connected however, the handle splintered and Guy winced as his hands were stabbed and scratched by the blade, forcing him to drop it. The green-clad Jonin brought out a pair of nunchaku and swung them around before assuming a stance. Seimata only allows me to use it, Kisame declared proudly as he grasped the handle of his weapon once again. He shot forward and swung down on Guy's position. Die. Such strength. Guy thought as he used his nunchaku to hold the sword away from his head. Not good enough, Kisame roared and struck down on Guy with his free arm. He's too strong. Guy yelled and thought as he fell through the water towards the street below. I haven't even gotten started yet, Kisame shouted as he quickly formed several hand seals. He slammed his fist into the water and called out, Suten, Gas Hokozame. Suddenly 5 sharks made out of dense water formed beneath the water and swam towards Guy. I have no choice, Guy realized and quickly crossed his arms in front of him. Chakra exploded from him in waves and destroyed the 5 water sharks instantly as he called out, Kaimon, Kuman, Simon, Shoman, Daman, Kimon, Kai. What? Kisame exclaimed in alarm as Guy appears in front of him. Guy's battle cry is heard all across the village as he pounds the Akatsuki swordsman again and again in a blaze of power and fury. Every hit sending out a blast of fire from sheer friction of the speed involved as he continued to hammer Kisame with everything he had. Guy ended his combo with a roundhouse kick to the face of the Akatsuki agent, sending him crashing through one of the buildings below and causing it to collapse under the strain of the impact. That should do it, Guy thought as he touched down on the water once again. Sutan, Daibaka Sui Shoha. Water exploded from where Kisame had crashed and Guy was forced to jump away yet again. What? Guy thought in alarm. Surosumi Odori no Jutsu. The water suddenly engulfed him and everything within a mile radius in a massive dome of water. What is this? Guy asked in thought and just then caught sight of his opponent. Kisame didn't look even remotely human anymore, in fact he resembled a shark instead of a man and his sword was nowhere in sight. Guy appeared in front of him and delivered a punch to the shark man's jaw, but the chakra he released seemed to disappear before the impact. He's absorbing my chakra even without his sword. No, he's merged with his sword and is absorbing my chakra directly. I can't even scratch him now, Guy realized as he swam away. I must escape if I am to survive, he thought as he tried to swim to the outer edge of the dome. After a few moments he saw that the distance between himself and the end of the dome had remained the same. He's moving the dome with me. You can't escape. Even in the water he still heard Kisame's voice as he gained on the green-clad Jonin. I'm almost out of breath, I can't win, Guy realized and came to a halt before turning swiftly towards his opponent once again. Lee, I leave everything to you, may my flames of youth protect you and the village for years to come. He made a hand seal and more chakra exploded from his form. Kiyomon, Shimon, Kai, he exclaimed as his body's final gate was opened and he disappeared in a burst of speed. He slammed his fist into Kisame's face, again and again. Fire bolts blazing everywhere only to be put out by the dome of water they were fighting in as Guy continued his assault. For just a moment he thought that the water might be blown away by his chakra, but it did not, possibly because it was saturated with large quantities of chakra, not that that mattered now. I'll just give you a clean cut. Kisame's voice roared as he struck the weakening Guy. It was over. He was a fast dumb beast, the swordsman chuckled as he threw the now dead body of his opponent out of the water dome. A sudden shockwave washed over him and the village, making him turn toward it. What is that? He asked in thought as he saw purple chakra spiral out from where the shockwaves were originating. Oh goody. He grinned, catching on when he saw the purple chakra condense and form the shape of a giant fire cat with 2 tails. So you must be the Nibi Jinchuriki, huh? Well then why don't I cut off your legs and see exactly how many lives you have? You're going to pay for attacking this village, Yugita roared as she sent several blasts of fire at the dome, but they were put out upon impact. Here kitty, Kisame taunted as he moved the water dome towards her. Nekomato Gukakyu, Yugito exclaimed as a ball of crimson flames erupted from her mouth and exploded against the water dome in front of her. When the mist cleared, the dome was still intact. It wasn't enough. Is that the best you've got? Kisame laughed as he moved the dome towards her. Yugito jumped back, her massive cat form leveling buildings as she landed. Damn it, fine, you have the elemental advantage here, but I'll just have to overwhelm you. Her tail spanned out and 3 balls of pure red fireballs formed at the tips of each tail and in front of her mouth. Kisame's eyes widened at the sight. Oh crap. Daju Nekomato Gukakyu. The 3 balls shot forward at high speeds and quickly reached their target in a matter of seconds. They slammed into dome with incredible force before they exploded with a roar, sending a wave of heat in all directions. Buildings melted all around them and the water dome collapsed under the intense heat, which was quickly vaporizing everything it touched, leaving a battered Kisame standing in the middle of the destroyed street with his Akatsuki cloak shredded. Someone's PMing, Kisame said, grinning madly. Fuck you, Yugito snarled with a roar. You're a little too young for me, the swordsman shot back and formed a hand seal. Sutan, Daikodan no Jutsu. A massive water shark exploded from the remains of the water dome and slammed into the side of Yugito's large cat form. Fuck, he got me, Yugito thought as the water she was doused with forced her to revert to her regular form. Bastard, she rasped out as she stood once again. How about I cut off your legs? Leader Sama needs you alive so you won't die, Kisame offered as he shouldered Samata. Go fuck yourself, Ito shot back and held up her hands to the dark clouds that had formed above. I used Nekomata Gukakyu 4 times so the air should be sufficiently charged, I hope. Now what are you doing? Kisame questioned before he heard the distinctive sound of lightning striking the earth. Raiten, Kirin. Ito called out as she brought down her jutsu. Oh crap, he muttered and looked up just in time to see a large dog-like monster made of lightning shoot down from the sky and hit the place where he stood. The resulting blast was thunderous, sending massive amounts of heat and shockwaves for 100 feet almost and melting the nearby buildings in a column of blue and white light. When the dust cleared, Ito could be seen breathing heavily a few feet away from a bleeding, but still conscious, Kisame, who was holding Seimata above his head. You use the damn sword of yours to defend against my jutsu, that's the source of your power, isn't it? Ito asked, catching on. So you figured it out, huh? It's not going to help you, Kisame said, grinning as he formed another hand seal. Ito wasn't going to give him the opportunity, however. Raiten no Yoroi. Electricity danced across her skin as she vanished in a burst of speed, surprising Kisame as she appeared in front of him. Keizuki, she yelled as she struck her target. Hey, it looks like you were too fast for me, Kisame said, grinning as his head fell to the ground, soon followed by his now lifeless body. I need to hurry and help Tuya, Ito thought before she took off. Fire Country, Konoha Hokage Tower debris field. Genjutsu won't work against this guy, so that leaves ninjutsu and taijutsu, Tuya thought as she stared towards the Uchiha murder. Katen, Gukakyu no Jutsu. Her eyes widened when she saw the large fireball barrel towards her. Oh fuck, she thought as she raised her hands towards the fireball. Shinra Tensei. The fireball dissipated just before it touched her and she quickly went on the offensive soon after. Makuten, Daijuran no Jutsu. She threw out her arm and it turned into several wooden spears which shot out towards the Uchiha mass murderer. Makuten Jutsu? That is surprising. Itachi commented as he easily evaded the attack. However, power does not always equal strength. Uzumaki Tuya, he finished as he landed on the rubble once more. Utakata, he whispered as he raised his hand to his side. Tuya froze, having been caught in his genjutsu, and he quickly moved in for the kill, only for Tuya to quickly stab her arm to break free of the illusion. You have to try better than that, the redhead shouted as she shot forward. It appears you learned some interesting tricks from Naruto-kun, Itachi responded calmly as he moved to intercept. Chidori, Tuya called out as her right hand was encased in lightning. Kakashi's jutsu, huh? Well then, Chidori, Itachi spoke as his own left hand was encased in lightning, also to Tuya's surprise. 3 steps away, they inhaled. 2 steps away, they exhaled. 1 step away, they inhaled. 0 steps away, they clashed. Dust was blown skyward as the pair were blown back and they each slammed into the wall that surrounded the debris of the Hokage tower. Tuya shakily stood and shook herself before turning her attention back to her opponent. The Uchiha was standing, seemingly uninjured, and had retained his almost bored stance with his Akatsuki cloak swaying in the wind. How the fuck do you know Chidori? The red-headed Uzumaki asked the question. I copied it from an encounter I had with my younger brother 3 years ago when we first tried to capture Naruto-kun and Yugito-chan. Sasuke doesn't concern me, however his jutsu to say the least, Itachi replied with his Sharingan spinning wildly. Fuck, if he can counter Chidori like that, then what am I supposed to do? Genjutsu is useless and my gravity jutsus won't do much against someone like him, Tuya growled in thought as she kept her gaze away from the Uchiha's Sharingan. Katen, Hozenka no Jutsu, she heard the whisper and saw Itachi exhale several small fireballs at her. Shit, she thought and raised her hands in front of her. Fujutsu Kyuin, she whispered, and the fireballs were absorbed by a sphere-like barrier in front of her. You're too slow, Uzumaki Tuya, Itachi said as he appeared behind her in a burst of speed. Shinra Tensei, she turned swiftly and sent him crashing back against the wall with a deafening impact. Impressive but still useless, Itachi commented as he appeared behind her once again. The one I hit must have been a clone. Tuya thought as she turned to face him again. Bunshine Daibakuwa, Itachi spoke and Tuya's eyes widened. What? The redhead exclaimed in thought as Itachi exploded with enough force to send her crashing hard into the barrier around the ruins of the Hokage tower. He must have been the one I hit with Shinra Tensei and had his clone get in close during my 5-second recharge time. But, how would he know that weakness exactly? You have fought well, Uzumaki Tuya, but I have experience in fighting Rinnegan users like you. I once fought Leader Sama during my initiation into Akatsuki and was soundly defeated. However, I did learn of several weaknesses in the Rinnegan which can be exploited, Although Leader Sama is too strong to allow me to exploit these weaknesses, you however aren't. You lack experience, nothing more, Itachi stated clearly. Fuck you. The redhead rasped out. Itachi didn't say anything as he shot forward with the intent on finishing her off once and for all. The moment he was within range however he was blown back by a large blast of wind. Tuya was also surprised and looked up at the figure which now stood between her and the Uchiha. Futon, Daitappa, the red and orange figure whispered the name of his jutsu. And Naruto? Tuya asked in surprise upon seeing her brother. You did well Tuya, you can rest now. I've got this, Naruto told her as he kept his gaze on the Uchiha. Naruto-kun, Itachi said in monotone. This stops now. Fire Country, Konoha Hokage Tower Debris Field. This isn't going to be easy, Naruto thought as he focused his gaze on the Uchiha mass murderer. A moment later Yugito dropped down beside him. A moment later, Naruto? You're back? Was I too late? No, you're just in time, Naruto replied. I probably shouldn't bring this up but, now that I've mastered Senjutsu I'm able to sense chakra signatures. Has Hokage-sensei gone somewhere? Neither Yugito nor Tuya replied to that. Okay, Naruto said finally and clenched his fists in anger. His eyes were different, the pupil were horizontal slits while the Rinnegan circle patterns overlapped it. The outermost circle at the edge of his eyes was red while the innermost circle was yellow and the rest was the standard gray. His Rinnegan looks different from before. I still have more than enough chakra to face Naruto-kun but I won't have enough left over if reinforcements arrive. Kisame has clearly been defeated so my only choice is to lure him away, Itachi thought before he turned quickly. He's getting away, Yugito exclaimed as the Uchiha jumped over the barrier towards the eastern gate. I'm going after him, you stay and help Tuya. He won't get away, Naruto told her and turned quickly. Alright but take Katsuyu with you, she'll allow you to stay in contact with us, Yugito told him and handed him the small summon slug. Thanks, Naruto nodded before taking off after Itachi. This should be far enough away for us to do battle without response teams arriving too soon, Itachi thought as he stopped in a clearing in the forest west of the village. Rasengan. Naruto dropped down from above and Itachi narrowly evaded the jutsu as it struck the spot he was standing on just a moment ago. Didn't our confrontation in Wind Country teach you anything? You cannot expect to defeat me with such direct attacks, Itachi commented as Naruto stood up straight and turned towards him slowly. I can be any number from 1 to 1000, who needs to be indirect? Naruto asked with a grin. What happened to your Rinnegan Naruto-kun? It seems different from before, Itachi asked intrigued. It's a secret, Naruto mocked and jumped high above the trees. What is he? Oh dear, Itachi thought and dived into the ground. Doten, Moguregakure no Jutsu, he whispered as he disappeared into the ground. Shinra Tensei. The landscape was blown away by the massive blast of gravity Naruto released. Boulders, trees and the very earth itself were hurled through the crumbling forest as the wave of destruction washed over it until all that was left was a huge crater over 10 miles wide and 40 foot deep. Naruto landed in the center of this, his coat flapping in the wind as the dust cleared revealing the smooth surface he had created. Impressive Naruto-kun, Itachi commented as he climbed out of the ground. But undeniably reckless, throwing that much chakra into a gravity jutsu must have exhausted your ability manipulation to gravity. It will take several minutes for you to gain control over it again and that leaves you vulnerable. You sure know a lot about the Rinnegan don't you? Naruto questioned. I once fought Leader Sama when I first joined Akatsuki, he won without a doubt and I was clearly outmatched. However I was able to learn several of his weaknesses, Itachi replied simply. Well come on then. Naruto challenged and gestured for him to attack. My regular genjutsu aren't working on him anymore and I don't wish to use the Mangekyo Sharingan unless I have to. I must keep to my normal jutsu for now, Itachi thought and quickly formed several hand seals. Kaden, Gukakyu no Jutsu. He exhaled a large fireball at the young sage in front of him. Naruto saw it coming and quickly slammed his hand down on the ground, Doten, Doryuki no Jutsu. The earth in front of him rose up to create a barrier between him and the oncoming attack. It struck the wall a moment later, dissipating as Itachi narrowed his eyes at the lack of damage. His elemental ninjutsu is extensive, Itachi quickly analyzed. Even without his gravity jutsu, he is still able to use elements outside of his natural affinity. Kage Bunshine no Jutsu, 2 clones popped into existence beside Naruto. I lend it with this, he held out his hand towards the clones and they immediately started channeling chakra. What is he doing? What are these chakra levels? Itachi thought as his Sharingan spun at the sight of the jutsu that was forming. The number of wind blades in the jutsu, is this how he defeated Orochimaru? Suddenly a bell-like screech reached his ears as he saw the chakra ball that formed in Naruto's hand suddenly sprout 4 large wind blades, making it resemble a large chakra shuriken. What a frightening sound! Futon, Rasen Shuriken, Naruto exclaimed as he twisted his body and threw the jutsu like he would a regular shuriken. He threw it? How can he hurl such high-density chakra like that? Itachi thought in alarm and moved to the side to evade the jutsu. His eyes widened as just when the jutsu was alongside him it suddenly expanded, engulfing his right arm in a ball of wind. It expanded. Itachi gave out a grunt of pain as he pulled himself free of the small hurricane and rolled across the smoother ground. The ball exploded behind him with a resounding boom before the entire crater went silent once again. Itachi quickly checked his right arm, it wasn't there anymore. That last jutsu completely ripped it apart and reduced it to atoms. Damn, I missed, Naruto said with a small grin. He was panting slightly but was otherwise pleased with the fact that he was able to destroy Uchiha's Itachi's right arm. The clones beside him immediately started channeling chakra into his hand again. You can't win Itachi. His strength, he is forcing me into a corner, Itachi realized as he heard the bell-like screech of the very dangerous jutsu that was thrown at him a moment ago. I mustn't allow him to catch me with that jutsu again. Futon, Rasen Shuriken, Naruto cried out as he hurled the chakra shuriken at him once again. I have no choice, Itachi closed his eyes for a moment and then snapped them open again to reveal his Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterasu, he whispered and black flames erupted from his eyes. The black flames hit the chakra shuriken in the blink of an eye and caused it to expand prematurely before exploding a moment later. Naruto was panting hard now and his eyes had returned to their natural shape and color. Even in Sage mode, I can only do 2 Rasen Shuriken each. I only have 4 left, Naruto thought as he tried to catch his breath. It would appear that your jutsu has worn off, Itachi commented upon seeing his opponent's muscles suddenly look like they were about to give out. Naruto didn't respond, instead forming a hand seal, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A single clone popped into existence beside him and he handed the large scroll on his back to it. There was no reason to say the command as the clone already knew what to do and quickly unraveled the scroll as Itachi watched on curiously. I won't let you pull off any of your jutsu, Itachi said as he rushed forward with his hand suddenly encased in lightning chakra. Let's see you try and stop me, Naruto shouted back as he too shot forward with a spinning ball of chakra in his hand. Rasengan. Chidori. The two clashed and the center and the 2 jutsus exploded a moment later, sending dust and mud into the air. Naruto and Itachi flew back in opposite directions with Naruto rolling across the ground to a stop and Itachi slamming through a tree. Itachi, were you always this strong? The young sage asked in thought as he shakily stood once again. Itachi stood also seemingly unharmed, he doesn't even look winded even though I sliced his arm clean off. I do not need my arms to fight you Naruto-kun, I only need my eyes, Itachi stated clearly. Gyakukushios no Jutsu. The clone that Naruto made earlier exclaimed as he slammed his hand down on the unraveled scroll. The kanji on it lit up and another clone appeared in a poof of smoke. The 2 dispelled a moment later and the real Naruto felt the influx of sage chakra he had become used to enter his system. His eyes shifted from blue to red and yellow with horizontal slitted pupils as he settled his gaze on the Uchiha's feet so as not to get caught in his genjutsu. Come here, Naruto shouted as he shot forward at speeds that should be impossible for humans. Kawazuka Mite. He called out as he threw a punch at the Uchiha's head. Itachi's Sharingan followed him as he approached and the Uchiha quickly evaded the punch. Just then however Itachi was blown back through a tree as he felt as if his cheek had been hit by Senju Tsunade herself. What was that? That wasn't Kyuubi's chakra and it wasn't gravity manipulation. If I can't predict it then I need to keep my distance, Itachi realized as he quickly recovered. Suddenly Naruto appeared above him in an instant with a massive spinning fireball in his right hand. What? Kaden, Dai Resenden. Naruto called out as the spinning fireball shot out towards the ground where Itachi stood. Amaterasu, black flame struck the large fireball causing it to detonate prematurely and release a massive blast of heat and fire in all directions. Once the flames died down Itachi had part of his cloak singed but no serious harm besides his arm. This is getting dangerous. Kaden, Dai Resenden. The young sage exclaimed again and sent another spinning fireball at the Uchiha. Itachi could feel his eyes were bleeding heavily now and forced himself to evade the attack as Naruto's eyes returned to their regular form and color signifying his sage mode had depleted again. By now both were panting hard, Naruto more so after throwing 5S rank jutsu at his opponent one after the other in quick succession. His strength has exceeded my expectations, I cannot allow him to recharge his jutsu again, Itachi thought, and his Mangekyo Sharingan spun quickly. Naruto was unfortunate enough to be caught in his eyes as he cast his most powerful genjutsu, Tsukuyomi. The world around them changed to a mix of darkness and crimson light. What do you mean Naruto is fighting Itachi alone? Shikamaru asked as the group helped injured shinobi and civilians in the damaged streets. He's asked that no one interfere, Katsuyu spoke up. He's so full of himself. This is Uchiha Itachi we're talking about. The man who wiped out an entire ninja clan in one night and just killed the goddamn Hokage. We have to go after him, Kiba snarled out. No, Shikaku spoke up, surprising the teens and adults around him. If he's mastered Senjutsu then he's in a class of his own now, the best we can do in this situation is to stay out of his way and don't be a drag on him. You can't be serious, Kiba grunted in disbelief and slight disgust. A wave of bloodlust washed over them, causing them all to shiver and snap their eye towards the eastern horizon where a column of crimson light was expanding up from the tree line. That's... Shikaku trailed off as the others quickly caught on also. He's using Kyuubi's chakra? Is that safe? Inoiki asked the others. Not when allies are around, no, but for him to use it now means he's been backed into a corner, Yugi-Ito replied with clenched fists. Itachi used Tsukuyomi on Naruto and it must have done something to Naruto's control. I am uncertain of what is happening exactly, Katsuyu reported. Wait, Yugi-Ito said as she turned. How many tails does he have? She questioned the two Hyuga in the group. There are 60 tails, Hinata stuttered out as she watched with her Byakugan. 6. Yugi-Ito repeated with a start. That wasn't supposed to happen, Itachi thought as he stared at the human-sized crimson chakra fox in front of him. It had 6 swishing tails behind it and was covered in some kind of skeleton-like bone structure, so this is the power of the Kyuubi within you, Naruto-kun, and you constantly keep it suppressed on a daily basis? Even with the Rinnegan your control is astounding, you continue to amaze me even now, Naruto-kun. The crimson fox shot forward, blowing up dust as he moved and quickly appeared above Itachi. The Uchiha quickly reacted by jumping away as Naruto descended and brought his fist down on where Itachi once stood. The resulting shockwave leveled a good portion of the landscape as Itachi narrowly managed to get out of range. With one hand he can send out a shockwave that large, no wonder Madara considers him a threat. Between the Rinnegan and Kyuubi's power, Naruto-kun might very well end up killing him where the Shodai, Yondai and I failed. I do apologize, Naruto-kun, but I cannot die here, Itachi thought as he stared into the white eyes of the crimson chakra fox. Amaterasu, he spoke as black flames struck Naruto in the side. Naruto howled in pain, but the flames didn't penetrate his chakra cloak. Kyuubi's chakra is too dense for even Amaterasu to penetrate. Suddenly blue and red orbs seemed to appear out of the air and gather at Naruto's open mouth as he let out an earth-shattering screech. The balls compressed into a single sphere and Itachi's eyes widened as the ball shot towards him at startling speeds. Rakabiko Imari. Susanoo. The ball exploded and engulfed the world around them inside miniature sun. The blast finally dissipated after a few long seconds and both combatants could be seen standing in the new crater that was just created from the last attack. Itachi now stood in the center of a large spiritual aura in the form of a Yamabushi with a sword in one hand and a shield in the other. You still continue to impress me, Naruto-kun, Itachi rasped out as he felt his jutsu started to eat away at his body and soul. I doubt you are conscious at the moment, but please pay attention, for no one has ever seen this jutsu and lived to tell about it. In response, Naruto let out another earth-shattering screech which sent a large shockwave at the Uchiha. The Yamabushi raised his shield as the shockwave washed over him. It held and Itachi batted the shockwave to the side as he swung the sword at his target. Foon, Itachi exclaimed as the sword struck through the fox's chest and out the other side. The bones dissolved away after a few long seconds as Itachi retracted the blade and watched as the chakra around Naruto started to slowly disperse. Once the Kyuubi's chakra had completely disappeared from his system, Naruto fell forward onto his knees and spewed blood onto the unforgiving ground. Do you see the futility of fighting now? Surrender, Itachi spoke simply. You really think that I'm just going to roll over and die? Just like that? Fuck no, Naruto shouted as he rose to his feet once again. Itachi's eyes widened at the glare Naruto sent at him. His eyes? The Uchiha thought. Naruto's eyes were different even from before. It looked like a mix of Sage Mode, the Rinnegan and the eyes of the Kyuubi at the same time. He's using his jutsu, the Rinnegan and Kyuubi's chakra together? Ludicrous, there's no way anyone could possibly have that level of control. Am I already in Sage mode? Kyuubi's chakra must have dispelled my last Sage clone, Naruto deduced and glared at the Uchiha in front of him. I'll never give up. I'll never surrender. The blonde shouted as he held up both hands in front of him. I only have one shot at on. Naruto gathered all the chakra he could from the Kyuubi's seal without re-entering his fox mode and threw out his jutsu. Shinra Tensei. He called out as the massive gravity blast washed over the landscape. No. Itachi's eyes widened as the Yamabushi instantly shattered under the strain of the last attack. He dropped to the ground and coughed blood into his only remaining hand. I'm at my limit. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Dozens of clones popped into existence beside Naruto and they charged forward immediately. He's planning on overwhelming me with superior numbers, Itachi realized and took a deep breath. He exhaled a large fireball at the oncoming clones without hand seals, Katen, Gukakyu no Jutsu. The clones were destroyed in matter of seconds, but the surprise came when a spinning chakra shuriken flew through the smoke. What? Futon, Rasen shuriken, Naruto exclaimed from the clearing smoke. Amaterasu, Itachi forced another blast of black flames at the chakra shuriken and destroyed it instantly as it approached. However, a second chakra shuriken appeared behind the first, making Itachi's eyes widen in surprise. He used Kage shuriken no jutsu? The second shuriken struck straight and true, tearing through Itachi's torso in one swift move, and it detonated a few feet behind him. Both halves of the Uchiha were sent flying and fell to the ground a few feet away. The upper body of Itachi coughed up a stream of blood and he forced himself to look up at the blonde for the last time. Thinking fast, he muttered one single word, Tsukuyomi. Anomaly, Tsukuyomi. Naruto suddenly found himself in some kind of house littered with ornaments and weapons. Where am I? He asked in thought as he slowly walked through the room. We must act now. We cannot allow them to blatantly disrespect the Uchiha clan any longer. Naruto snapped his head in the direction of the voice and approached the window. Down in the street below was a man who looked like an older version of Itachi speaking to a crowd of people. Bearing the Uchiha family crest, we must rise up and take the village our ancestor, Uchiha Madara, founded. The Hokage and the council believe we summon the Kyuubi to attack Konoha and kill the Namikaze Minato. We cannot allow this to continue. What is this? Naruto asked in thought. This is memory. Naruto turned swiftly and found a completely normal Itachi standing behind him. I am dying, you won. But there are things that are still left unfinished. This is one of them, Itachi continued. What are you talking about? Naruto asked him. My father, Uchiha Fugaku, was rallying the entire Uchiha clan for a hostile takeover of Konoha. The entire clan was planning a coup d'etat, Itachi explained, making Naruto take a step back in surprise. Why the hell should I believe that? That can't be true, Naruto said, shaking his head. But it is. What's more, I was playing a double agent inside the Uchiha clan for the Sun Daime Hokage, Danzo and the elders. When negotiations with the clan broke down, they ordered me to destroy the clan, Itachi stated clearly as the scene around them changed. A second later they were in one of the rooms at the base of the Hokage tower. A younger Itachi had his head bowed before Danzo and the elders of Konoha. Hiruzen's negotiations have failed. A civil war is coming if we don't stop it now, Koharu said simply. His belief that the Uchiha will actually listen is useless if a war starts here. We have to eliminate the problem at the source, Danzo stated clearly. If we wait, then it could be the start of the Fourth Great Shinobi War, he continued. What must be done? Itachi asked. The Uchiha must be neutralized before they plunge this entire continent into war, Danzo answered finally. Weasel, you are to make sure the peace in Konoha is maintained at any cost. The scene suddenly changed again, and a moment later Naruto found himself in a white room with Itachi standing a few feet away. As you can see, I was under orders to destroy the clan, Itachi stated clearly. Do you regret any of it? Naruto asked him. Do I regret killing my parents and the rest of the traitors in the clan? No, but I will always regret killing the innocent, the children and the babies. Sasuke was the only one I couldn't bring myself to kill, Itachi answered truthfully. Why are you showing me this? Naruto questioned. Because all I have left is the ideals of Leader Sama. He wants peace, and I believe you do too. You need this information if you are to bring peace, Itachi replied. You mean pain? Naruto asked with anger lingering in his words. Yes, though he is not the true leader of Akatsuki, Itachi replied. True leader? Naruto questioned. The benefactor of Akatsuki, the man who helped me destroy the Uchiha clan, and the man who summoned Kyuubi no Yoko to attack Konoha 16 years ago. Uchiha Madara. Itachi answered. Your chakra is vile and reminds me of Uchiha Madara. Naruto's eyes widened at the name. Who the hell is Madara? You heard my father talking about him earlier. He was the founder of the Uchiha clan in Konoha. He could control the Kyuubi like a pet and used it to attack Konoha 16 years away. Konoha was right and the Uchiha were responsible for the attack. I am unsure what his plan is, but I will tell you this, he is weakened at the moment compared to what he once was. He suffered considerable injuries at the hands of the Shodai Hokage, but even still he is an extremely dangerous shinobi. Sooner or later you will have to face him. I pray that you are ready when you do, Itachi said calmly as crows swarmed around the pair. A crow dove and entered Naruto's mouth, forcing its way down his neck. Once it disappeared, Naruto collapsed to floor, coughing but otherwise fine. He glared at the Uchiha mass murderer in front of him as he tried to steady his breathing. What did you do to me? Naruto demanded. I gave you some of my power, though I prayed that you were never forced to use it, Itachi stated and turned away. My time is up, you know Sasuke will be coming after you now, don't you? His revenge demands it. Naruto remained silent as he continued. I've done all that I can. The rest is up to you. With that the world was consumed in light. Fire Country, battlefield near Konoha. Naruto stared down at the unmoving form of Itachi's upper body, the lower half motionless a few feet to his left. Suddenly a bright light exploded from the body and shot into Naruto's hands. A moment later the light died down to reveal another chakra crystal, this one crimson with the feeling of incredible heat. I will give you resurrection, 4 of 6, Shiki Fujin. Who the hell are you? Naruto asked but received no answer. Naruto clenched his fists as he stood over the body of his defeated opponent before he let out a sigh. He crouched down and pulled a small scroll out of his cloak. He quickly sealed the body in the scroll before he rose to his feet again and turned to leave. He cast one look back at where Itachi once lay before continuing onwards to Konoha. He staggered as he walked but otherwise kept moving. Itachi, all you wanted to do was stop a war from breaking out. You didn't deserve this, Naruto thought as he kept sluggishly walked through the trees. He tripped, losing his balance in the process and fell forward. Crap. The next thing he knew his right arm was slung over someone's shoulder. Tuya. The red-headed Uzumaki snorted in amusement. What are you doing here? We got word from Katsuyu that you won, so I came out to get you. Since knowing you, you probably went overboard again. Oh, and before I forget, you weigh a ton. Maybe you should try dieting, the redhead said grinning. Smartass, Naruto snorted in response as she helped him walk in a straight line. What about the others? He asked her. Hokage and the Green Wonder were killed. Everyone else is being tended to by the old slug and Yugito. It could have been a lot worse. Tuya muttered the last part and Naruto couldn't help but bitterly agree. And you? He asked her. The redhead just grinned. I've had better days. Haven't we all? The young sage asked with a small laugh. Try to stay conscious, Whiskers, Tuya said with a smirk. Whiskers? I thought it was shit stain? The blonde asked with a weak grin. You've been promoted to Whiskers, so deal with it, the redhead replied. I think you've been spending too much time around Enko, Naruto commented as the two approached the eastern gates of Konoha. What's that? He asked when he caught sight of the crowd standing at the gates. Hey, there they are. One of the villagers called. Naruto. Great job. Another village shouted as others shouted out the gratitude also. Yeah, you did great. One of the shinobi in the crowd cheered. What is this? Naruto said in surprise as the several of the villagers ran towards him. Didn't I say Katsuyu told us everything? Everyone knows you beat Itachi when even Hokage failed, Tuya explained as Naruto suddenly found himself surrounded by villagers and ninja alike. Naruto. The young sage turned and saw Yugito step in front of him. Hey Yugito, I'm back, Naruto said with a small smile. You reckless idiot, she smacked his head forcing him to recoil slightly. The next thing he knew her lips were crushed against his in a kiss which sent the crowd into another wave of cheers. Yugito pulled away after a few seconds and said, Don't ever make me worry like that again. Sorry I worried you Yugito, Naruto said softly and smiled. Thanks for caring, he pulled her into another kiss and the crowd cheered. Today was the day that marked the reign of the Rakudime Hokage. Fire Country, Daimyo's Palace Council Chamber. We plan to continuing working with other countries against the threat posed by Akatsuki, Homura stated clearly to the council of fire and the fire daimyo. After what has happened to Konoha, Fire Country will put every effort into helping rebuild from this latest attack. We'll first have to come up with a budget, and considering the strain on the other countries, I suppose we should be thankful that the village is still standing from this incident, one of the councillors said with a nod. There is something else we should consider first. Who will be the next Hokage? Danzo asked the question. I was thinking Tsunade would be a fine choice, the Fire Daimyo mused. She is the granddaughter of the Shodai Hokage and is a student of the Sandaime Hokage. She is also a drunk and a gambler. If she were made Hokage, then Konoha might struggle with her authority. Koharu spoke up. So who shall it be? Asked the daimyo. Well, Danzo began but was cut off when the main doors flew open. I apologize for intruding Daimyo-sama, but I am here on a matter of grave importance. Naruto's voice echoed through the chamber as he entered with two Sai and a squad of Anbu and Jonin at his side. Uzumaki Naruto, what is the meaning of this? Koharu demanded as she and the rest of the room's occupants rose from their seats. You are under arrest, Naruto replied simply and pointed towards her and her companions. Anbu, take the elders into custody, he ordered, and the Anbu complied without delay. On what charge? Homura demanded. Attempted genocide of a Konoha clan. Naruto's reply stopped everyone in the room cold. Danzo's visible eye narrowed further at his words. He knows about the Uchiha clan. I can't let him live with that knowledge. He took a step back as two figures appeared in front of him. Fu, Torne. Cover me, I'm going to release the seal on my arm. He slipped off his bandages to reveal a cast of some kind on his arm. It's a good thing I recalled these two when Itachi attacked, but I never expected Sai to betray me. That Kyuubi Jinchuriki must have removed the seal on his tongue, or he wouldn't dare oppose me like this. Shinra-tensei, Tuya whispered, and both root agents were slammed through the wall as Sai and the Anbu grabbed the two village elders. You can't do this, Koharu shouted in outrage. I apologize for the disturbance, Daimyo-sama, but I must make sure the peace in Konoha is maintained at any cost, Naruto said as he smiled at the now stiff elders and Danzo. All three were surprised at the words he had used, words that they remembered from the night they ordered the Uchiha clan be destroyed. Danzo threw down the metal cast and revealed his right arm, covered in numerous Sharingan. Where did you get those Sharingan? Naruto asked him. Here and there, it's a long story, Danzo replied cryptically. So you and the elders really did order Itachi to exterminate the Uchiha, Naruto declared to the surprise of the room. If that is true, then when will you stop? Once everyone is one of your mindless drones? I can't allow you to continue with this pointless bloodshed. Pointless? What I have always done has been for the good of Konoha. It is the reason there has been no wars in so many years, Danzo shot back. You and the other elders were given the mantle by Shodai and Nidaime Hokage, so they entrusted the future of Konoha to you. Now it's time for you to step aside and put your faith in the youth of today, Naruto stated clearly. No, I am the only one who can ensure Konoha's continued survival, Danzo declared as he made several hand seals and shot forward at incredible speeds. Shinra-tensei, Naruto whispered, and Danzo was thrown back against the far wall with a thud and spray of blood. Your Rinnegan is impressive, Namikaze Naruto, Danzo said, suddenly appearing where he was originally standing completely unharmed to the surprise of everyone in the room. I thought he was a better man than that bastard. Self-sacrifice, that is what defines a shinobi, scorning the sun, to work in the shadows, that has always been, that is a true shinobi. Many ninja have died like that, Itachi is not the only one. Niceties will not make the world go round. It is thanks to people like that that we have been able to maintain the peace. In telling his secret, Itachi betrayed Konoha, and now by challenging me you have too. Shunpo no Jutsu, Naruto appeared in front of him in a flash of yellow light. Kawazuku Mite. The punch slammed into Danzo's chest and he was hurled through the wall behind him. The two found themselves outside the tower of the palace and tumbling down in the trees below. They touched down on solid ground a few seconds later and narrowed their eyes at each other. Now we must speak with our eyes, Namikaze Naruto, were Danzo's words. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.